This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So, hello everyone. Very good afternoon. So, let's start the session. How about any doubts in yesterday's session? Reading comprehension. Are you all able to practice the reading comprehension documents which I have sent you? Or do you have any other doubts regarding? Please ask me if you have any doubts regarding. See, today we'll continue with the essay writing. Okay. I'm here to start essay writing. So, we'll work on that essay writing today. I will try to help you with the process, the steps that are required, and also with few tips and tricks to clear the essay writing. And also, I'll help you with the half set of synonyms and antonyms which we are discussing yesterday. So a few more we will discuss today. Okay, that will also help you for the reading comprehension also, right? Okay, so let us start now. First of all, please confirm me. Are you all able to hear me? Are you all able to hear me? Okay, thank you. All right then, so let's start. Okay, so let me share my screen first. Um, so only 64, I think, so as of now. Please let me know if in between, if you're unable to hear my voice or something, please let me know so that I will understand. Okay. Whatever, let us start the session now. So before we enter into something, just let me know what do you actually understand by essay? What does essay mean to you? What is an essay? Don't say that essay is personal, narrative, philosophical, political, cultural, and academic. Okay. Um, what do you think actually essay means? What do you understand by essay? What is an essay? Yes. Can anyone tell me what is an essay? Right? What is an essay? Just tell me. At least text the message here. You used to talk to me, right? So please tell me what you actually understand by essay. What do you mean by essay? Writer's own conception. What is that? Conception, actually. Okay, that's a spelling mistake, right? So writer's own conception. And any other answers? What is an essay? Literal composition and writing involves intro, descriptions, arguments, conclusions regarding a topic. Yeah. Okay. More answers? You're actually beyond the expectations. I'm just asking you in simple terms. Just describe me. What is an essay? Brief explanation about topic. Okay. Piece of writings on a topic. Okay. Okay. Article of the topic. Okay. Very good. Very good answers. Very good. Nice. So to put all together, expressing your views in the written form on the given topic. Okay, good. Right. So to put together all your thoughts, putting all your thoughts together. So essay is nothing but a piece of writing, as you all said, as most of you said. Nothing but a group of paragraphs. Okay. My voice is breaking. I'm sorry. Is it okay enough? Are you able to hear me clearly? Please let me know if you're unable to hear. Okay, right. So an essay is nothing but a group of paragraphs. Okay, nothing but a piece of writing on a particular topic, as most of you said. And how do you just write the topic? You will not write it on a complete page. I mean, you just need not utilize the complete space and write, right? Though you type it, but you need not type everything in a single document continuously, right? You will definitely divide your thoughts into paragraphs. You cannot put all together, you cannot put all your views into a single document, right? So you will definitely need to divide your thoughts into few forms. Okay, it's nothing but paragraphs. Okay. So essay is nothing but a group of paragraphs where you just try to identify your viewpoints in the respective paragraphs. Okay. Now, what do the paragraphs contain again? Sentences. And again, sentences also contain words. So essay is nothing but representation of your thoughts on a particular topic into words in a written format, something which we call as an essay. Now, yesterday we have discussed something related to reading comprehension, right? What did you observe in the reading comprehension? Nothing but the passages, correct? You all have seen different passages in the reading comprehension, right? Now, each passage is nothing but an essay. Okay. For example, if you could remember the topics that we discussed yesterday, the topic 1 that we discussed is all about the mercy killings. Okay. And also we discussed about another, the first topic. Do you remember? Euthanasia, right? And the second passage is all about the football, NFL, taking care of the brain, the accidents, etc. Right? And that is also a passage that is also considered as an essay. And the third essay, do you remember? We discussed about the Guinness Book records, right? Okay, and how did the public moved across from ages? Okay, learning about the knowledge. Right? So these are few topics which we discussed yesterday in the reading comprehension, right? Now all those are nothing but passages, individual passages on a particular topic, correct? Now those passages are nothing but essays. Okay, you can consider them also as an essay. If you could observe, all those essays are divided into 3 or 4 paragraphs, correct? Yes or no? All the essays are divided into different paragraphs. All the passages which we discussed yesterday, there are at least minimum 5, 6, or 7 paragraphs in each passage that we discussed yesterday, correct? So that is nothing but an essay. So why do you think it is required? Why do you think the proper structure or the proper format is required? Why do you think so? Why do you think so that structure is required? For example, let me show you any paragraph from our reading comprehension. Let me show you any paragraph from our reading comprehension. Yes, to represent it clearly on a particular topic. Exactly. True. Now, for easy understanding to the reader and to know what it is actually about. Correct. Very good. See, most of you are absolutely good at identifying things. Okay, let me show you this passage. Yesterday we discussed this particular paragraph, this particular reading comprehension passage we discussed yesterday. So let me show that to you. I hope you all remember this one which we discussed yesterday. Of course, most of them were not present. That's a different story. But most of you may not have any idea about this at all. But I have shared you the same document in your respective groups also, right? See, this is nothing but an essay. Will you accept that it is an essay? Yes, absolutely. That is nothing but an essay because it is nothing but representation of a topic in different paragraphs. Okay, how many paragraphs see here in this particular essay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Exactly, 5 paragraphs, right? So what happens if you don't represent this in paragraph and if you put everything into a single document? Do you think there is a necessity to put everything into paragraphs? Do you think it is required? Yeah, my question is, do you think is it necessary to represent about a topic in several paragraphs? Do you think it is required? Okay. So why do you think it is required? Why don't you guys speak instead of typing? Because typing takes more time, right? It is better to speak than typing. Most of you have spoken in my first in my first session, I guess. Most of you interacted well. Of course, in second session also, mostly. Okay. But none of you have spoken in session 3 and now, yeah, could be more clear. I mean to say typing will take more time. Instead, you can just try to speak. I think speaking would be better. It also makes you comfortable. Okay. Okay. To bring a to bring a format to that essay, there might be disturbance in the background. So many of us chat, ma'am. Okay. Oh, okay. Nice. You all have good reasons then behind that. Okay, whatever. Okay. My intention is to make you all participate. So I am always open for you to participate. So you can just try to make yourselves comfortable. That's okay. Okay, so there are several paragraphs in this particular essay. Now, do you think the matter that is discussed in all the paragraphs is same? Yes. Do you think the topic that is discussed in all the paragraphs is same? Of course, the main topic is something related to exploring the knowledge. Like yesterday, we put a name to this one, right? The Encyclopedia of the Extremes reflect the changing interests of modern society. So this is the title of the passage that we have given yesterday, right? So this discusses something in detail. In the first paragraph, do you all remember yesterday we have discussed something called as which of the following best summarizes the organization of this passage? Do you remember what is the option for this one? Do you all remember this? What is the exact answer for this one? Yesterday I explained you. If you could recollect. Are you all able to recollect? E, very good. Very good. E is the right answer. Exactly. Introduction, history, exposition, and conclusion. So, why did we call this as organization of the passage? What do you mean by this? Organization of the passage. What do you actually understand, friends, from the term organization, from that phrase, organization of the passage? Yes, what do you think by organization of the passage? Who can explain me what do you actually think organization of the passage means? Yes, some answers. How the passages are arranged. Okay, correct. Arrangement of the passage, correct sequence. Exactly. So, do you think organization is important for a passage or an essay? You can also consider it as an essay. Why do you think organization is important? To maintain a flow on the topic. Okay. So, why do you think you need to maintain a flow on the topic? Clarity when you read. Very good. Okay. So, you all believe that, yeah, for easy understanding, absolutely. So, you all believe that just by writing the thoughts on the paper or just by typing the thoughts on a document or on a word pad or some space is not essay, correct? Just if you type something, whatever the thoughts that you process in your mind, you cannot just type them exactly, right? You just by typing the thoughts on the paper or the notepad, that is not an essay, correct? So essay means it should always possess something called as organization, arrangement, proper arrangement of the passage. Exactly. See, this particular introduction, history, exposition, and conclusion, whatever we discussed here, this is the exact format of any essay. Okay. This should be the exact format of any essay. Okay. Of course, you can also fix to this. Okay. You can also fix to this, but preferably first, this one is the best choice. This one is the best choice. This also can be chosen as the second one, but this is the main choice that you all need to maintain. Okay, this one. This should be your main choice. Introduction, history, exposition, and conclusion. Okay. So what do you mean by introduction? What do you mean by introduction? Yes, what do you mean by introduction? Yes, friends. So what do you think introduction means? Why introduction is actually required in an essay? Introduction is a brief idea. Okay. Intro on the given topic. What is it about to get brief knowledge? Okay. So what are the main things that you put in the introduction? For example, what are the things that are described here in the introduction? Yes. What do you think introduction means? History. Okay, that's history is a history. That's a different story. But what actually do you think introduction means? Okay, fine. See, introduction is not anything called as a history or something, but introduction is nothing but introducing the topic, the brief idea, whatever you said, absolutely correct. Just an idea about the topic that you're going to discuss about. What is the main thing? You will just try to explain the theme of the story or the theme of the topic that you have chosen. Yeah, something like a subject of a topic. Exactly. Very good. So you will just try to explain the theme that you have chosen for this particular kind of an essay. Okay. For example, look here in this particular first passage. In the first paragraph. Look at here in the first paragraph. You can see it talks about the biggest house of cards, the longest stand, and of course the tallest man. These are among the thousands of records logged in famous Guinness Book of Records. So in the introduction line itself, you have got an idea that you are talking about something related to Guinness Book of Records. Okay. So after talking about this Guinness Book of Records, you will just try to explain what is Guinness Book of Records in the next line. Okay. In the next lines, in one or two lines. So then you will understand, okay, so they are talking something related to the knowledge gathering, something related to Guinness Book of Records. And they are about to talk about its history also in the coming passages. And they are also about to explain in detail about the book. How did it actually sell 120 million copies? So what are those present in this particular Guinness Book of Records? So we can expect everything in detail in the coming passages, in the coming paragraphs. How can you identify that? Just by your introduction. Something like an index. You all know what is an index page, right? Of course, index only gives you the titles of the topics. if you open in the index of a book or the index of any document, it may contain only the titles. It may only contain the names, the titles of that particular topic, and they will mention the page numbers, etc. Or they may also mention what are the subtopics inside. Okay. But this index here in the introduction will help you the main theme of the story. The main theme. Okay. Please don't mind for my handwriting. Okay. Please don't mind. Because I may not write here properly, but usually my handwriting is not the same. Please don't mind. Okay. So this one will give you an understanding of the theme of the story. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being on. Right. So the introduction paragraph should give you the essence. It should make you feel what is it actually you're going to discuss about in the coming paragraphs. So you should give an idea to the reader. Of course, these days, it may not be possible to identify what is that you actually going to write in the essay, because previously people used to read the essay, they used to correct it, and then they used to put the marks. Okay. But it doesn't happen here because it's a system read document, right? But still it can identify you what are the mistakes or what are the things that you are doing in this particular passage. Okay. So you may get a doubt, who is going to read my essay? The system is going to read your essay for sure. It has an intelligence to identify things. Okay. So they mention some commands to the system in such a way it can identify the essence in the essay. Right. So it is necessary to follow the same order. Okay. So the theme is something very important that you should be able to mention in the first paragraph. You can put the introduction paragraph. You can just try to put the introduction paragraph to maybe 3 or 4 or maximum 5 sentences, not more than that. Okay. Preferably 4 to 5 sentences maximum. And nothing more than that is actually required in the introduction paragraph. And those 4 or 5 sentences also should be able to explain you what is it actually you're going to discuss in the coming paragraphs. Okay. Now, if you look at this particular first introduction paragraph, see, look at the first line. Why do you think they have chosen this line for this paragraph? Why do you think they started the passage with this line? Why do you think so? They can start the paragraph in some other way, right? Like Guinness Book of Records is famous for something, or Guinness Book of Records is something else. So Guinness Book of Records means, they might have started the topic in that way, right? Why do you think they have chosen this sentence? The biggest house of cards, the longest tongue, and of course the tallest man. These are among the thousands of records logged in the famous Guinness Book of Records. Why? Why that line? Why do you think they have chosen that line? What is the reason? Yes, why do you think it was chosen? Yes, can anyone tell me why do you think they have chosen that line to start that particular paragraph or the passage? Why? One in many will have that qualities, man. Man, okay. Why everyone can have that quality? See, if they just write Guinness Book of Records has been considered as one of the top, etc., etc., then it would be like something a normal thing. Okay, it would be like a normal, boring story. Correct? So, to make you feel interested towards this topic, to grab your attention, okay, to grab the attention of the reader, your first line should be absolutely interesting. Okay, the first line should be able to hook the reader, we say hook. Do you all know what is meant by hook? Hook, hook. Have you ever read about it? Hook. Yes. What is hook? What is hook? Metallic piece. Okay. What is that used to? Hold. Exactly. Very good. So hook is nothing but a metallic piece or a metallic thing that is used to hold something. Exactly. Absolutely. Correct. So this particular passage or this particular paragraph also should be able to make you hold of it, should be able to catch hold of you. Okay. So that's the reason the first line of the passage in the introduction paragraph in the sense, first paragraph in the essay. So that first paragraph in the essay, the introduction paragraph should be catchy. The first line, we say catch hold of. You should be able to catch hold of that passage. That means you should be able to impress the reader. That's the reason they have chosen this. So you cannot just write definitions or you cannot just write some kind of explanation directly in the first paragraph, in the first line. So you can just try to write in such a way, start your essay in such a way, it will make you to create that interest. It will not only create the interest to the writer, yes, to grab reader's attention. Absolutely correct. So it not only makes you feel, makes the reader to get impressed, but it will also make you yourself also interested to write the rest part of the essay. Something which we call organization. The organization of the passage will be more comfortable for you to write. Okay. So that's the reason they have started in this way. After writing this particular line, they try to explain the history in one line about this. The reason to write the first line. The reason to write the first line is explained in the second and third sentences clearly. Right? The reason to write the first sentence is explained in second and third sentences in a brief note. Now you can try to explain about everything in detail in the coming paragraphs. Right. So in the first paragraph, you will try to decide and explain what is the theme of the story or the essay. Okay. And in the second paragraph, what did they do in the second paragraph? They have mentioned something called as history. So from here, the body of the passage starts. Whatever we say from the second, third, and fourth paragraphs is called as the body of the essay. Introduction, body, and the last one is, what is it last one? Last one is conclusion. Okay. So in the introduction paragraph, you can limit that introduction paragraphs to either 4 or 5 sentences, approximately 4 or 5. That's your choice. 4 or 5 very important sentences. So in such a way that you should be able to identify the theme of the essay. And the first line should be very catchy. Okay. And in second and third and fourth sentences, you will be able to explain what is that necessity of writing this first sentence. And also you will try to prove the theme that you're going to write in the coming paragraphs. So the outline is given here. The index of the story is provided here. The synopsis, you can say. Okay. The synopsis of the passage or the essay is already mentioned here in the first paragraph, in the introduction paragraph. Now you can put body of the paragraph, body of the essay. Body of the essay can be represented in either 2 or 3 paragraphs, 2 or 3 short paragraphs. Okay. Body of the essay can be represented in 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay. And in this 2 or 3 paragraphs, in one paragraph, you can talk about the history of it. Okay, history. You all know what is meant by history of that particular topic. Something, how did actually originate? Okay, what actually happened? Some events of history can be described in the first paragraph of the body. That means in the second paragraph of the essay. You can just try to describe the history and the origin of that particular story or of that particular topic in detail. Okay, and in the second and third, in the second paragraph and in second and third paragraph, we also call it as something as exposition. You all know what is meant by exposition? Have you ever heard about exposition? Okay, exposition is nothing but a brief explanation. Okay, a brief description of the history and also description of the changes that happen from history to present. Okay, so that is what we called as exposition, something which we called as thesis. Thesis, you say thesis, right? Okay, so you just try to describe the changes that happen from the history to the present. And also if any problems faced or if any challenges faced on that particular topic, everything will be explained in another 1 or 2 paragraphs, something that is explained here in the body. Okay. If you look here, see, in the first introduction paragraph, they explained about the importance of Guinness books, and you also explained that it is sold, the book would sell 120 million copies in over 100 countries. Okay, so you just try to explain something about the book in detail. Now, How did this originate? What is the necessity of this? How did the necessity of this book come into picture? That explained in the first, in the second paragraph. That's in the first paragraph of the body. That is what we call as history. How did that actually originate? And after origination of this particular book, how did the things turn over from history, from the past years to present? How did the changes took place? Okay, now this is about the book. So they have also tried to explain about the earlier editions and the current editions. Okay, so they also try to explain the earlier editions and the current editions. So the change that happened, the description of the incidents happened that are changed in the that are explained in this two paragraphs. Okay, and finally in the last paragraph they explained something called as conclusion. What do you think conclusion means? So in the first paragraph, you will just try to mention the theme of the story. That is nothing but the flavor that you're gonna invent in this particular essay. What is that you actually gonna introduce to the readers? The theme of the essay will be represented in the first paragraph. Now going forward in second, third, or fourth paragraphs, that means the body of the essay, you will just try to explain, give the history, the facts, and the changes that took place and the transformation. Everything will be explained in detail, and all are nothing but the facts. Okay, some knowledgeable things. Okay, now what do you actually explain in the conclusion? What do you actually explain in the conclusion? Yes. What do you think conclusion of an essay means? So in conclusion of the essay, you will not talk about any new things. Okay. But you will just try to, reaffirm your answer. Reaffirm in the sense you will just try to explain your answer in a more stronger way. Whatever the topic that you have chosen, you will just try to explain the need for that particular topic, or the essential part of it will be more clearly projected. You will just try to repeat the thesis. Okay, you will just try to repeat it, maybe in a different way, but you will just try to repeat the same thing, whatever you have explained in your previous paragraphs, but in a different way. That's all. But you will not write something called as the body like you have written here. You will not discuss any new topic into this. You may choose some new things, but which can help your argument to be more better. That's all. To make your argument to be more effective, you may choose some different things. But in general, you will not bring something new into the picture. Okay. Okay. For example, originating as a simple bar book, the Guinness Book of Records has evolved over decades to provide insight into the full spectrum of modern life. So finally, you are trying to give one or two sentences. How did it actually emerge to be a book? A book of modern life. and finally they ended. So this should be the actual format of an essay. The way we discussed about the passage here, this should be the actual format of an essay. Okay, right. Right. I hope you all understood about that, which I have explained you. Did you all understand that what I explained you in that comprehension passage? So there might be several different types of essays. That's what it means to say. Okay. Some essays maybe ask you to talk about something which is personal, in the sense something any to describe the personal events of your life. Okay. Maybe your recent traveling experience or your college life, school life, or some incident. Or some things can be narrative. Narrative in the sense contemporary or historical events. The current events, you can say. The general events. Something knowledge oriented. Okay. Philosophical. Philosophical means something related to your uh, your perception based upon your understanding of things. Okay. Some questions, some kind of essays can be based upon your what do you think, smart work versus hard work? Which one do you prefer and why? Some kind of your opinion based questions. Okay. And some questions are based on political in the sense some kind of society oriented arguments, something which is related to the maybe something which is related to the current society, idea based questions. Cultural cultural in the sense something related to the books, films, any kind of dance, evolution, literature. Okay, all those things. And there can be something also called as academic. There can also be something called as academic type of essays, which comes in various shapes and sizes, aim to persuade the reader with informed arguments. Okay. Something related to the above all, something which can be related to present uh, essays or something. You can just try to explain something. Okay. Anyway, don't focus too much on this kind of things anyway. You can just try to So there are three important stages that are involved in writing an essay, as it is mentioned here: preparation, writing, and revision. Here I mean to say preparation means, first of all, before you directly write an essay or type an essay, it is always better to write an outline of the essay. It is always better to prepare writing an essay. Okay. Preparation in the sense writing an outline of the essays is something which is very much required. What is writing an outline of the essay? Let me show that clearly for you. See, this is something we called as the outline of the essay. Okay, outline. Okay, outline of the essay. This is the topic: impact of technology. So before you directly write an essay, it is always preferable. It is always preferable to maintain an outline. This outline, you can write it down on a rough paper or in a rough page, wherever you can. Quickly, of course, to explain you, I have written this in this particular way. But while you would like to write the outline, you need not write it very clearly. You can just try to write it in small words, or you can just try to draw a picture in your mind also. Okay. So how do you need to plan to write an essay? What is the planning stage? Planning stage is that first of all, you need to write an outline of the essay, which is very important. For example, impact of technology is the topic. Okay, so you should be able to write an outline of the essay first. You should be able to frame an outline of the picture. That means introduction of the essay. What do you write in the essay, in the introduction paragraph? So you will write about technology. Of course, you will not define technology, but you should be able to identify some lines. Like I have showed you in the previous passage, you should be able to identify some beautiful lines, attractive lines, all those catchy lines. Okay, you need not explain about technology in detail. You can do that in the body. But you should be able to explain about technology in a different way. Okay. Next. You'll also write why is it vital part of our life. So I mean to say, you will just try to explain why do you think the technology plays a vital role in the part of your life. You can talk about some interesting facts also, like we discussed in the Guinness Book of Records, the tallest man, the tallest tongue, and all these things. That could be the first line, something as such interesting about the technology. You can actually talk about Any famous saying? Okay. Otherwise, you can also talk about something that can make the person interested. And then you can explain why did you actually write that line. Okay. That can be explained clearly in the first paragraph number 1. Next, going forward, in the body of the passage, body of the essay, I told you, right, you will try to explain the history. The history. How did this actually evolve? And some facts related information. Okay, that is related to technology. You will just try to explain that in one paragraph. Okay, in one paragraph. And then the second and third paragraphs, you can talk about the problems faced, the positive aspects, and also the negative aspects. Otherwise, you can write it in 2 different paragraphs also. Okay. And then in another paragraph, you can discuss about the various types of technology that are present in the current day world. Okay. You can just try to talk about the various types of technology that is present in the current day world. Okay. And also you can talk about the effects. You can also talk about the IT, information technology, and also its effects in another paragraph if required. Otherwise, you can commonly talk about it in different types of technology. Okay. And finally, you can just try to give a conclusion. Okay, you will not include any new things here, but you will just try to explain it in a proper format. That's all. Okay. You will not try to explain everything in a detailed way, but you will just try to give a proper approach, proper closing lines of that particular paragraph, of that particular essay. Right? So these are the important things that are actually required, that are actually needed in this essay writing. Okay. Now let us understand with one more example. So as I have already explained you clearly, so that is what we call as the preparation stage in the essay. Okay. Identifying an outline of the story, of the essay that you have planned to write. Okay. Identifying the outline of the story is something very important. Identifying the need for it. Okay. The different various stages that are required is preparation. So first of all, you need to prepare an outline, which I have shown. And then according to the outline, as I told you, you need not actually write an outline in that way, but you can just try to frame it in your mind if you want. Otherwise, you can also write it or draw it in a rough page, or on the rough space that is provided to you. Okay, just that is for your explanation. I have written it clearly. Otherwise, you need not write it very clearly. You can just try to mention it in single words. Okay, that is enough. Okay, and then you do something called as actual writing. You will just try to write the actual essay clearly. Okay, the actual essay is written now. Okay, and finally you will revise the essay, because you should be able to plan these 3 stages in the given time, which is very important. You should be able to plan the 3 stages in the given time. Let us suppose that you feel that if there are only 10 minutes to write an essay, you should be able to spend at least 1 or 1.5, not more than that, maximum 1 minute to prepare an outline of that essay. Okay. And then the next, if you remove 1 minute, there will be 9 minutes, right? So in this 9 minutes, at least you should be able to write the essay in 6 to 7 minutes. Okay, 6 to 7 minutes. In the another 6 to 7 minutes, you should be able to complete writing the essay. And then the other 2 minutes, maximum 2 to 3, not more, not 3. 3 is actually not required. You can just use 2 minutes, that's all, to review the essay. So if you could read the complete essay, it may take around, checking your complete essay may take 1 to 1.5 minutes or something. Or though it takes 2 minutes, you can put 1 more minute for a proper review or explanation of things. Okay, if you have missed some point or something, you can include it at the right place. Okay. So this is something that you need to plan while you try to write an essay. And you should implement while writing this. Even that you should also be able to implement it while preparing, while practicing the essay also. Okay. So this is something very important. Okay. Right. Next one is sections or part in the essay. You can just take a screenshot of this one. These are the important sections or parts in the essay. The document which I have shown you, that I will send it in the group, in your respective groups. But there is no necessity of this PowerPoint presentation to send, because it consists of other elements also. It may be a bit confusing to you. So you can just take a small screenshot of this one. That would be fine. Only the main important things that are required. Okay. These are the main sections or parts in the essay. And these should be the paragraphs in the essay also. Okay. So if you could properly observe, the main sections in the essay are introduction, body of the essay, and conclusion. Okay. So introduction, in the sense, the main section where usually you include your main point of the essay. And it is mostly written in 1 paragraph. Okay. So you mostly write it in only in 1 paragraph. Preferably you write it in only 1 paragraph. And I told you how to write the introduction. Okay. What are the things that you need to follow while you try to write an introduction? Okay. And then you go with the body of the essay. Body of the essay, in the sense, detailed explanation in stages. And also with relevant examples, previous incidents, personal experiences. I told you, right, in the body of the essay, you can talk about the history, the exposition, that means the brief description of the things, the changes that happened, the incidents that took place, okay, the positive and the negative parts of it, depending upon the topic. Okay, and the changes, the advancements happened. So all these things can be discussed in the body of the essay. Okay, and you go with the, and it can be written mostly in 2, 3, or sometimes 4 paragraphs also, but preferably 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay, and conclusion. That means a final view, an end picture, closing remark of it, where you give recommended solutions. So it is also mostly written in 1 paragraph. Okay. So but you will not include any new things in the conclusion, right? So you will just try to explain it only in this way. Okay. So these are the main parts. These are the main elements that you need to follow while writing an essay. Okay. And beyond that, you may not expect anything. So when you try to attempt to write an essay, they may give you a word count to write the essay in 150, 200, or 250 words. Okay, so definitely there will be a word count, and accordingly you can plan for the essay. Okay, see, when they ask you to write it only in 200 words, let us suppose, if they ask you to write it in only 200 words, then you should definitely stick only to 200 words. You should not write even a word beyond that, because the system will not consider from 201 word. It will only consider the first 200 words. Though you write 300 words, if your main content is from 150 word to 300, it's of no use. Remember. Okay. Because the system will only consider the first 200 words. If they ask you to write it in 200 words, you should strictly write the essay in 200 words only, not any word beyond that. Of course, though you write, it will not be considered at all. Okay. So please remember that very carefully. Okay. Okay. So let us understand in detail about writing an introduction, how to write the introduction, how to write the body, and the conclusion. Of course, I already explained you, but still, once again, I'll just try to review that. Okay. Just give me a minute. Back in a minute. Okay. So So let us understand about this in detail. Okay, just give me a minute. So writing an introduction. So how to write an introduction? What do you actually need to put in your mind to write an introduction? What are the main things that you actually need to remember to write an introduction? Okay. Your goals of introduction, goals of writing introduction should be, I told you, right? The first line itself should be able to hook your reader. Like you all mentioned, grab the attention. It will make you feel attracted. It should make you feel attracted towards that particular essay, right? So that is something very important. Okay. So it should be able to hook your reader. It should be able to catch. It should make you to catch the essence. Okay. So that is something very important. Okay. And the next one is it should be able to provide the background and context. Like after writing that main line, it should be able to provide you what is the theme. I told you, right? We are discussing about the theme while I'm trying to explain you about the um, Guinness Book of Records. We are trying to identify the main theme of that particular topic. So it should be able to provide the background and the context. It should be able to provide an overview of the essay. Formulate your thesis statement also means to say formulate your main idea of the story, the crux, okay, the theme, the main intention in writing that essay should be properly projected. Okay, should be properly clearly mentioned in the introduction passage itself. Okay, for example, if your intention, let us suppose take a topic, hard work versus smart work. If your intention to balance both, that should be properly mentioned in the first passage, in the first paragraph. If your intention is to prefer smart work, even that also should be mentioned in the introduction paragraph. Okay. Or if your intention is to pick the other one, that also should be mentioned there. Okay. So I mean to say that you should give a clear understanding of what is your theme of the writing. That should be properly mentioned in the introduction paragraph itself. Okay. So your introduction paragraph should be able to hook the reader, grab the attention of the reader. The first line itself should be able to make you grab the attention. Okay. And then you should be able to provide the background and the context of that particular subject or of that particular topic. And then you should also be able to provide the actual theme of the story. What is that you actually wanted to write or to explain? Okay. For example, this is the essay. Okay. The invention of Braille marked a major turning point in the history of disability. Okay. See, I'll also help you with the example statements. You just tell me uh, which one is more attractive here. I'll give you a minute, just be online. Just be online, okay? I'm gonna share the screen. Just be online. It is just taking time to open. Just be online. So in the same document, which I have explained you about this technology, see, look here. Examples, writing a good hook. Look at these two. Which one is more attractive? Which can be considered as the hook line? Yeah, which one can be the hook line? Is the first one or the second one? Braille was an extensively important invention, or the invention of Braille was an important turning point. See, the first sentence is just a dry fact, correct? Whereas the second one is more interesting. Okay. In this one, for example, it is just trying to help you understand why it is more important. Extremely important invention. You just have given a definition or a dry fact. That's all. But the second one is just telling you, creating you the interest towards that topic. So invention of Braille. Okay. Or how Braille system influenced the society at French. So this is the main topic. And look at this one also. The internet is defined as global computer. Which one is more interesting among these two? Which one is more catchy in these two? Among these two. Obviously the second one, because you should not write just the definition, dictionary definition or the website's definition should not be mentioned there. You should be able to create the interest. Here in this sentence, you are just defining, but definition is not required in the introduction. You should be able to write an effective statement which can actually make you feel that this is a worth reading document or a worth reading essay. Okay, so this is also another example. Which one is more interesting among the two? Obviously the second one. See, so this is just giving you a fact, that's all, but this is making you feel more interested towards that book, correct? So this is something you need to cultivate. Okay, instead of just stating a fact that the reader already knows, the improved hook here tells us the mainstream interpretation of the book. Okay, so after writing this hook, you should be able to give a background information. Give a background information or define why did you actually took that as the statement. The explanation will be followed. For example, this is the hook statement. And why did you write this hook statement? It is explained here clearly. Okay, so this is the introduction paragraph. That's all. This is the introduction paragraph. So now you're going to explain about this in detail in the body of the passage. Correct. So let me so that should be the effective way to write an introduction paragraph. Okay, so that is an introduction paragraph. Now let us also try to understand what are the other things, how to write the body of it. So you will just mention the theme of it here. Now try to understand how to write the body. Okay. Now the body of the essay. What do you write the body of the essay? Preferably you can write it in either 2 or 3 paragraphs. The body of the essay can be written preferably in 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay, I told you, right? You can try to explain the history, and you can give a detailed explanation in stages with relevant more examples than any incidents. What's written, everything can be explained in the essay. Okay. So you can just try to explain it in detail about the essay. Okay. You can just try to explain the history behind it. You can just try to explain in detail about it. You can also try to write some evidences or some kind of supporting statements, etc. Okay. Right. So, and then you write a conclusion. In your conclusion, you will just try to give a proper arrangement of the structures that I have already shown you in the Guinness Book of Records document. It's almost the same thing. Okay. And then you will just try to give a proper conclusion. You should not write anything new. Okay. In the conclusion, you will just try to explain it clearly in your main arguments. Okay. So I'll just show you the example of this. From that, you can easily understand something in detail. I hope you all able to see this. See, okay, this is of example of a well-structured essay, but there is no necessity that you need to write all these things exactly. There is no necessity to write all the references and everything, but you can just stick to the main things. Okay, I will just text this link here in the chat box. You can also open that document. I sent a link here in the chat box. Are you all able to see that link? It's the same link that I'm gonna present it to you here in the chat box, in that screen. Okay. I want you all to please go through that document and just try to relate to the things which we have been discussing from the past few minutes, from the past 1 hour. Okay. Yeah, I request you all to please go through this for the next 5 minutes very carefully. I have already sent you the link of this one and just try to understand it. Okay. Okay, I hope you all understood. See, this is a topic, the title of the, okay, if you want, you can also put the title, because anyway, they will ask you to put a topic. So you can also plan for a title if you want, otherwise not required. You can just try to go with the same thing, okay? The main statement of yours can also become the main title of the passage or the essay, okay? And following that, you understood the introduction and also the body of that. I hope you all understood this one. Okay. So yeah, all of you can just take a 5-minute break. Are you all able to hear me? Okay. You can just take a 5-minute break and come back. Okay, 5 or 7 minutes around. Now the time is 5:40. We will resume again at 5:50. Okay, 5:43 actually in my system. Don't go anywhere. Stay connected. Okay, just take a 5 to 7 minutes break. Okay. Are you all able to hear me? Okay, fine then. Take a 5 to 7 minute break and we can be back. By the way, did you all able to understand everything about essay writing? Any other doubts? Any other doubts? Is it clear about essay? Can you attempt the essay this time? Is it easy? Okay, I will also share you a few topics in the same document. You can just go through that, okay? Right. Okay, time is 5:45 around. Okay, please take 5 to 7 minutes break and we'll continue with that synonyms and antonyms. Okay, thank you. Please try to come back. Sure, sure. I will give you the brief explanation. After you come from the break or something, I will, whatever, before I end the session, I will just try to give a brief introduction once again. Okay, thank you. Try to come back soon. I will just try to screen, put the screen on this thing, but you just take a 5-minute break, okay? Guys, please take a 5-minute break. I'll just present the screen for you so that you can have a quick look. Okay. That's the reason I have presented the screen, but you can take a 5-minute break. Okay. Thank you. Are you all back from the? You all back from the break? Okay, fine then. Okay, so let me. Do you want me to give a quick explanation of once again? Yes, you can ask your doubt, please. Yes, you can please ask your doubt. So, what is the limit? What is the word limit that they asked you actually? Evaluation pattern in the sense, yeah, definitely there will be an evaluation pattern. That means they will ask you that you need to put a limit to 300, or that they may ask you to put a limit to 200 or something. Yeah, they will ask you. They will ask you to put. Okay, yeah. Let me show you some reports if possible. I'm just trying to identify a few. Just be online for a minute. No, they will ask you. Okay. Yeah, I will try to show you a few examples. Just be online. I'm trying to open those documents. Be online. Okay, see here you can find, are you able to see my screen first of all? See, this is the thing given for writing skills. This is the topic name. Okay, see, this is the topic given, the use of technology in healthcare. Okay, see, don't think about this one. This is the writing skills that is only particularly related. See, they will give you like this: express your views in not more than 200 words. That means not more than, in the sense you should not write even 201 words. Okay, see, out of this 10 marks, the girl scored only 2.6. See, you understand? Okay, so if you see here, this is the response. This is the thing that she had written. And see, she had written something else. And till here, see, if you observe here, she actually have written something else also. See, an affordable and a safe environment. Now that is not considered by the system. You understand? Because see here, it is again showing an error, because the last sentence should have a full stop. See, even your punctuation also matters in an essay. Punctuation, spelling mistakes, everything matters. If you see here, this is the way usually any essay evaluation would be done. See, 204 out of 200 words used, but results are based only on evaluation of first 200 words only. Okay, you understand? Marks scored, the remarks given, a high, medium, very low, low, very low, high, medium. These would be the scores, and depending upon this, the coherence to topic. You understand what is meant by coherence? No, it would be manually done by the system only. Someone will not evaluate it. Okay, it will be done. Uh, Coherence to topic is important. That means your fluency in writing. How were you able to actually write the topic in a good way? How were you able to actually use the right format? All these things matters. Okay, 60% scores will be given to coherence to topic. 60% in the sense, how much out of 10? What is 60% in 10 marks? 6, right? So out of 6, this person scored 1.2. You understand? Something which you should be able to write that is relative to the topic. You should not get deviated. Okay. Of course, I don't mean to say everything will be the same case, but preferably you can experience the same thing. Okay. And the grammar, 30%. 30% in the sense 3 marks, right? Out of 3, she scored 0.6. And spellings, 10%. That means 1 mark. Out of 1, 0.8. Vocabulary, nothing much given in vocabulary. Okay. So this is the way the system will try to evaluate. After writing, it will just try to help you out with the things. What are the changes that you need to make? Sometimes while you're typing, you may skip something called as the spelling mistakes, or sometimes you may skip the full stops and all these things. So that's the reason you should be very careful when you attempt an essay. Okay. Writing it in paragraphs is also very important. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, friends. So this is the main thing about the essay. Okay. Anyway, you can refer to the recording session so that you will understand it much better. Anyway, I think you're receiving the recorded sessions. This will help you. Okay, right. Right, friends, just give me a minute. I'm going to open this synonyms and antonyms. See, there is also another website called as grammarly.com. So for all these sentence corrections, the grammar mistakes, you can use that website. That will also will help you. Okay. That website is also a very useful website which can help you to understand about the the sentence structure, grammar mistakes, if any. All this can be identified in that. Okay. That's actually a useful website and you can refer to that. It's a good one actually to use. Okay. Right. Now let's work on something important. Okay, I hope you all understood about the essay. Let's quickly focus on this vocabulary. Okay, so I wish you all able to see this. Okay, so this is nothing but the vocabulary. I think you all know what is meant by vocabulary. So vocabulary is nothing but to be filled with words. Okay, so sounds make words and words make sense. So vocabulary is the knowledge of these very same words which bring meaning to language. Okay, so just be online. Sorry, this is not opening event. Just be online. I'm trying to open it. These are the things which we already discussed, but I just wanted you to understand. That's all. Preferably. Okay. So let me give you a quick understanding of these things. So I think you all know what is meant by vocabulary. You might have heard about it several times. People say you need to use a good vocabulary. Vocabulary is nothing but we say the body of words used in a particular language. That means the words that you use in particular language. It not only talks about English, but it could be about any language. The words that you use. Okay. The words that we use in any language is called as vocabulary. Okay. Some kind of special set of words. Okay. If you're using few words very common, people just wanted to listen from you some sets of different sets of words. Okay. Right. So the good number of words and good different words that you use, people will consider you that you are a very good communicator, right? See, not only about the words, of course, you need to have other things also like fluency, accent, non-MTI, and other things. But you should also be good enough to provide and explain with good number of words. Okay. So vocabulary also means that. Right. Okay. And yeah, the most common types of vocabulary questions that you may experience are synonyms and antonyms, and also sentence completion. I think we have already discussed about synonyms, antonyms, and sentence completion. Okay. And what do you actually understand by word analogy? Analogy, actually, the actual pronunciation, analogy. What do you understand by word? Have you ever heard about word analogy? That means something related to verbal ability. People say the common sets of words that you use, relation words, words relating to each other. Okay. There will be 4 or 5 options provided to you. Maybe it could be words of similar meaning or opposite meaning. The kind of words that you usually do in other kinds of abilities, the same thing. In reasoning, you may find some kind of verb analogies, right? Okay. Okay, and depending upon the origin of the word, okay, depending upon the origin of the word like this, see, for example, you can find something called ben. Ben means good. Benevolent means generous. Benefit means helpful. Benign means good natured. So the word ben itself means something which is good. Benny or ben means something that is good. So depending upon the origin of the word, you can identify, you can guess at least half part of the meaning of any word in this way. Okay, depending upon the origin of the word. The root word, we say. Root word in the sense the main word. Okay, depending upon the root word in English, you can easily identify the actual meaning of the other words. Okay, for example, like this. And there is also another example. You all know what is bi. Bi means two. Bilingual, two languages. Bilateral means two things we're talking about. Okay, so this is the way that you can easily identify. Phil in the sense love. Philanthropy, love of mankind. Philanthropy, anthropy, study of humans. Anthropology, study of human science. Love of human mankind. Bibliophile, I told you. Bible means books. Lophile, in the sense, book lover. Auto means self. Autonomous means acting independently. Autobiography. Biography is writing something. Auto means writing own self in that way. Okay. So like this, depending upon the root of the word, you can just directly try to identify the other part of the main meaning of the word can be identified. That's what it means to say. Okay. So prefix and suffix also help in guessing the meaning of the word. Okay. For example, if you really don't know the meaning of a particular word, these can help you. Prefix and suffix. For example, prefix is a word or letter placed at the beginning of another word. You know, prefix means something which is placed before the word. Suffix means which is placed after the word. You understand? So prefix is a word or letter placed at the beginning of the word. For example, misunderstand, unimportant. Okay. Un itself means nothing. You know that. What is the meaning of un? Means no. Miss. Okay, something it is in the opposite way. So these are negative words. Suffixes are the words which are placed able, acious, in that way. Okay. So these are the prefixes. Bio, biology, biography, biotechnology. Prefixes. Preview. Bio means something related to life. Pre means something which is before. Life Logy, study of it. Biography, biotechnology. Okay. Pre in the sense before, prediction, prepaid, before, used before, preview. Okay. Before. Suffix able means we're capable of doing something. Something like erasable. Okay. Constructible. Full means full of, wonderful, full of wonder, full of color, full of beauty, in that way. Okay. Sometimes if you can also divide the word into 2 or 3 parts to identify the meaning, to identify the right word. For example, unpredictable. Let us suppose that you don't know the meaning of it. Unpredictable. That means un means not. Pre means before. Dict means diction, words or speech. Able, that means capable of, capable of. Okay. So if you could split the words into 2 or 3 different parts, then you can easily identify the possible meaning of the word. You can also try with other words if you want. I'm going to share this document to you. Don't worry. It will help you to understand. Otherwise, you can find it in the recorded speech actually. Okay, you can find it in the recording anyway. I don't think so. I'm not allowed to share this kind of PowerPoint presentations. But you can just try to, I'll just try to share you the required material. Don't worry. Okay. That means not able to tell in advance, unpredictable, inability to identify in advance. Okay. Now talking about synonyms, you all know what is meant by synonym. We have already discussed. Synonym is nothing but the word that means exactly the same, or maybe mostly nearly the same. Another word in the same language, mostly like the another word in the same language. Okay. Okay. Right, and you know, entanglement. What is the meaning of entanglement? That means you may expect these kind of questions here. Tangle. Tangle means to knot. So depending upon the tangle, you can identify what is the meaning of the word. So the easiest ways to identify. Okay. Well, there are a few tips given here. You can just try to take a screenshot of this one. That means using root words, prefixes or suffixes to guess all possible meanings of the stem word before you look at the options. You can look for first root words and the prefixes and suffixes before you directly try to solve that. Otherwise, you can just try to root a match, look for a match. For example, here, entanglement. What is the root word here? Tangle is the root word. So what is the meaning of tangle? Knot. Okay, in that way. So these are a few tips where you can actually try to solve the questions based on vocabulary. Okay. And you all know what is an antonym. Antonym is nothing but the opposite of another word. Bad is an antonym of good in that way. Opposite, mostly opposite or gives you mostly the similar meaning. Okay. Similar meaning to the opposite. Not similar meaning to the main word, but similar meaning to the opposite one. Okay. And this is an example provided. Edible, able to be eaten. Edible, able. See last suffix able. Able to, edi means to eat. Okay, ability to eat. Unpalatable, that means person's ability to distinguish taste. Palate. Okay. So these are the different words where you can easily identify the meanings of the words. Okay. And it would be much easier for you to identify the meanings of the words. Okay. I hope it is clear. Let us discuss few more synonyms and antonyms. Okay. Okay, I'll share you this vocabulary document. There is nothing wrong, I guess, anyway. No problem at all. Because first of all, you should be able to identify, right? I want you to do well in exams. I will try to share that to you anyway. Don't worry. Okay. You can also refer to the recorded session also. That's not a big deal anyway. Okay. Let us focus on few more synonyms and antonyms from our previous documents. Okay. Just be online. Okay. So the other day we discussed a few. So let us discuss on the other words also quickly, just for another 20 minutes. Okay, 15 or 20 minutes, whatever, right? So some important things I want to help you with. Okay. Exemplary is something which is important. Exemplar. What is the key word do you think in this? Exemplary or exemplary. Okay. Exemplum. Exemplum. Exemplum is the main keyword. Example. Example means sample or example. Okay. Exemplary comes from the Latin exemplum. Okay. Exemplary means perfect or ideal, model, all these words. And exemplary is an adjective. Exemplar is a noun, but exemplary is an adjective. Okay. Exemplary is an adjective. He is an exemplary leader, you say. He is an exemplary leader. Okay. An exemplary leader. Okay. Okay, that's what exemplary means. Okay, that's an important one. Next one, nothing much important in this. Extent is an important one. Extent in the sense, you all know what is that. Extent is nothing but no longer existing, vanished. Extent is also an adjective. Okay, whichever that is vanished or whichever that is moved away from the part, we call it as extent. And this is also important. Facade, facade or facade, you people say. Okay, but Americans pronounce it as facade. Okay, facade. This C should be pronounced as S. Facade. Okay, facade in the sense the front part of the building. It's a noun. The frontage, you say. The front part of the building. Okay, facade. Okay, and it's a noun. The front part of the building, which is considered as the face, the empty space that is provided in front of the building, that is something. Okay, and feasible. Feasible is also an important one. Work. Feasible means which is easier to work, the comfortable place to work. Okay, feasible one, the possible one. The possible, the workable, the practical, the likely. Okay. The opposite to this antonym is impractical, impracticable or impractical. Okay, theoretical, impossible, unlikely. All these are the antonyms for this feasible. Okay. Next. Okay, just be online. I'll be back in a minute. Just be online. Okay. Now you can just easily identify the synonyms and antonyms here in the same document. It is much easier for you. much of the words. I'm just trying to touch the words which you may experience during the uh, main verbal ability section. Okay. You know, fulsome means disgustingly excessive. Fulsome. Fulsome is an adjective. You all know what is meant by frustrate. Frustrate is an easy thing for you to identify. Ghastly or ghostly. People say ghostly or ghastly. Ghost-like appearance, which is something which is horrible to identify. A horrible thing. Okay, you consider it as ghostly or ghastly. Ghostly. Ghostly appearance. It's an adjective. Death-like, which is horror kind of a thing. Then gregarious. Habitually fond of associating in a company or herd. Gregarious sheep. Gregarious means which is fond of a company, sociable, social, organized person. Adjective. Gregarious is also an adjective. Okay. And the opposite to this is unsociable, reserved, okay, alone, in that way. Okay, reserved is an antonym to this. Unsociable, unsociable, or unorganized, unreserved, in that way. Gregarious person. It's actually a positive sentence. It's actually a possible word, positive word. Hail means, hail is a verb, it's to greet. The crowd hailed the returning hero. That means salute, escort. Or hail means, you can also say, uh, to say good things about the person. To praise, you can also say praise, praise, or praiseworthy or something. Okay. Hail means also, it also means that the crowd hailed the returning hero. So something about to praise the person. Okay, next. Actually, there are much not antonyms of this, but hailstones is something different. Okay, hailstones is something different. Some kind of an ice that fall from the sky. Hailstorms is a bit different word. Imminent. Imminent means likely to occur, which is approachable, which is almost confirmed. Imminent, which is likely about to happen. Okay, which is confirmed and about to happen. You say imminent. That means likely to occur soon, very soon. Okay. That is the actual meaning of imminent. Opposite is remote. Opposite is remote. Okay. Impeccable. Impeccable is faultless. Performed with impeccable in the sense faultless. Okay. Performed with impeccable skill in the sense absolute skill. The skill which is highly possible. Okay. The skill which is highly possible to the person. So he has got an impeccable skill in the sense the person can absolutely perform without any mistake. That is the actual meaning of that word. Okay, impeccable. Okay, opposite to that is imperfect, sinful. Opposite to that is faulty, sinful, imperfect. You can consider them as antonyms to that word. Okay, you can consider those as the antonyms to that word. See, this is nothing but a prefix im. Im can be, it is usually used with the words which starts with M or P or B. Immature, impeccable, immunity. Okay. With the opposite meaning, implied, implication. Okay. That means not opposite. Peccable, opposite. What is peccable? Peccable is the root word. Capable of sinning. Peccable means capable of sinning. Sinning. A sin, faulty person. Impeccable in the sense a person who cannot fault. Okay. Okay. The opposite. If you know the main word, you can identify. For example, pervious. Pervious rocks. That means which can be penetrated. Pervious rocks in the sense which can be penetrated, penetrable rocks, allowing water to pass through. Permeable rocks, a substance which can be easily enter into. Impervious means obviously which cannot be, which is not easy to flow. Okay, that im means opposite to the main word. Okay, you can find all the words in the same way here. Okay, indigenous, indigenous in the sense native, indigenous. Indigenous crime, that means insidious. You can say the crime that happens inside it, within the state, a native person committing the crime or the native things working on that. We call that as indigenous crime. Synonyms are inside, born, innate. Opposite is foreign, foreign, outside. Okay. Uh, Indomitable, indomitable, the next word. Indomitable means unstoppable. Indomitable, domitable in the sense which can be dominated. Indomitable in the sense which cannot be dominated. That means which cannot be handled. So such an indomitable spirit, indomitable courage. Okay. Inference, that means conclusion. The conclusion which you can draw from it. Inference means a conclusion. Okay. Inference means reference. You say reference, someone else. Inference means inside of it. Okay. Inference is something which you can take in inside it. Okay. Okay. All this N also means the same. And the jargon means the confused language. Okay. Jargon means don't confuse the words. Jargon language in the sense a confused language. Jargon is a noun, something, some kind of special words used for a special, depending upon the, for example, every profession has its own language, right? Every profession has its own language, correct? So a language which is specially related to that particular thing. Okay. So that is what we call as jargon. Judicious, an important word. Judicious means it's also an adjective. A person who is very clever. Judicious judgment. A wise judgment, a clever judgment, in fact, a very good judgment. Judicious. Okay. Next. Lavish means something which is superior, extraordinary. Lavish. Lavish means an extravagance. Extravagance in the sense of which is very awesome, something which is extraordinary, beyond the limitless. Okay? Beyond something, beyond the expectation. Okay. Now, lethal is also a very good word. Lethal means a deadly weapon. Okay, lethal. This is a weapon. This weapon is lethal. In the sense, such a deadly weapon. Okay. Lethal means which is very deadly. Lethal weapon. We say deadly, fatal weapon. Okay. Lucid. Lucid writing. We say lucid is actually an adjective. Lucid means which is very clear and easy to understand. Okay. Lucid. Which is very clear. Lucid is also an adjective. Opposite to that is confusing, ambiguous. Okay. Abstruse, obscure. All these can be considered as the opposites for them. Right. Malicious. Malicious. Malice. That means an opposite word. With an ill will, malicious crime. That means there is an ill intention behind that. Okay. Malicious is also an adjective. Okay. That's all actually, nothing much important words actually inside it. But if you want, you can just try to go through that. Okay. And learn them because every meaning of every word is clearly represented here. So you can just try to rehearse, practice it. Okay. But I have covered I have already forwarded this PDF, right? I didn't forward it. Okay, I'll forward it again. Okay. I will anyway forward all these links to you guys, so you can just try to go through them. The explanation is already given, and I have also tried to touch the important words anyway. So that you can do well. Okay. Thank you then. That's all. You can leave. Thank you. Well, anyway, all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you so much. All the best. Bye bye.